Okay, so thank you for attending today. Um, let's see. So video games kind of have a bit of a negative connotation sometimes, but this presentation is for everyone. So those who indulge and those who abstain from gaming, because there's a lot to be learned from video games. We can apply the techniques for creating an engaging virtual world to our own reality. So the top three ways that we can gamify our life or turn our life into a game. First is emotional engagement. Then clear, tangible progression through our goals. And the third is by having fun. So this excerpt is from the book Actionable Gamification by Yu Kai Chow, one of the top gamification experts in the field. He says that a good game designer might look at things like game elements, game mechanics. Um, sorry, uh, the mediocre game designer looks at game elements and and game mechanics, but the good game designer thinks about emotional engagement. How do I want my users to feel? Do I want them to feel inspired or proud or scared or anxious? What is my intended experience? This is because when we're engaged emotionally, we then become motivated intrinsically, so from within rather than extrinsically by these rewards, maybe a chest of gold or something. And then we become driven by our feelings, and it's just this very natural urge to continue. Our goals might be defined intellectually, but we are driven to achieve them because of how those goals make us feel. So it's rooted in our emotional engagement. The main two emotions, there's a lot of emotional needs and core needs, but the main two I'll talk about today is fear, kind of the negative, or excitement. We might get motivated to do something out of fear. Like, I'm afraid that, I don't know, I'll get cold if I don't dress enough outside. So that's my motivation to dress warmer. Or maybe excitement. I'm excited by this meetup event. That's what motivated me to create this presentation. So actually, let's focus on excitement. So when there's nothing that excites us about our current reality, it gets really easy to be sucked into this flashy virtual world. Games are designed to be engaging and flashy and addictive. So we need something exciting in our real life if we're going to turn our life into an even better game. So it's good to think about what goal excites you. What makes you excited to start your day? I know that on days that I don't have something exciting going on or that I'm not looking forward to my day, I will start my day by playing games. That's what gets me out of bed. But that's generally not how I want to live my life ultimately. So I will bring in the story of how I gamified my um, overcoming my social anxiety. I used to have really, really bad social anxiety in high school. I would go through, a day without talking to anyone at all because I was just painfully, painfully shy. Um, and so the goal that excited me was to be able to raise my hand and participate in class because I wasn't able to do that. That was a really scary goal for me at the time. Okay, so now we have something exciting emotionally. Next is to build that into our reality. So that brings us to the second stage, which is this clear progression through goals. So another excerpt from the book. Often we fail to achieve our goals not because we don't have a goal, but because the path to achieving the goal is too hard, takes too long, or we don't know where to start. The goal is not the problem, it's the path to get there. So we want to break the goal into manageable steps, encourage people along the way, and that's how we can gamify a goal. So what's necessary is a tangible goal. I need to have an actual result. I need to know if I have actually achieved it or not. So for example, I can't have a goal that says I want to be rich because rich can mean anything. Like I don't know if I actually reached it or not. $1 million might be rich to one person, but 1 billion might be rich to another. So I need to have this clear marker of knowing whether I've reached it. So for example, going back to the being rich, maybe it's having no debt, or maybe it's having enough passive income to not have to work. And that needs an actual number with it as well. So my goal in my case was to be able to raise my hand and participate in class. Along with those tangible goals, we need the clear steps because games really provide clear steps for us. We know how to get to that next level. We know what we need to do. But in life, the lines are a lot more blurred. So what we want to do is break down our goals into as many small steps as possible to build that momentum. Make the goal as easy as you can, and then make it even easier. Cut it in half again. Because every time we achieve a goal, it releases dopamine, and that's like this pleasurable neurotransmitter that makes us want to do it again and again. Um, and that's what gaming does. A lot of times, gaming releases dopamine. That's what makes us addicted to it. And so, if we can apply that neurotransmitter to our real life, we can harness that for good rather than investing our time into a virtual world that may not necessarily have real world outcomes. And so my baby steps, how I started with my social anxiety was it was just to make eye contact with one person for 1 second a day. That was just my, and then once I got that, then, maybe two people, then maybe 2 seconds, and then maybe be like smiling. So slowly, I built up that way. Um, and then that brings us to our third step, which is to have fun. Right? Life is the most amazing game that we can play. And there's no virtual world out there that can beat what we can experience in our reality. Um, but something that lets us have fun in games is that it's not serious, right? We aren't necessarily as attached to the outcomes as we are in real life. So that lets us be creative about problem solving, have fun. Um, and when I was making that part of the presentation, it reminded me of Thomas Edison's quote, which was, I have not failed 10,000 times, but I've only found 10,000 ways that didn't work. So to me, that's kind of what I think of having fun, because instead of like, oh, I failed, I'm not going to try it again. It's like, oh, okay, this doesn't work. Let me try something else. So it builds a lot of resilience so that we can bounce back and start and keep playing the game and moving forward. Um, so I did end up raising my hand in the class for that first time. I think by that time, I think it would have been a year of working on myself. So I was in university now, and I raised my hand in the middle of a seminar, and then they called on me, but then I didn't really plan for what I was going to say. So it ended up being just gibberish coming out of my mouth because I was so nervous. And then, but the presenter was nice. He was like, okay. And then like he just kind of made some comments and then like brushed it off. Uh, but because my goal was just to raise my hand, I achieved my goal. That let me, pat myself on the back. I reached my goal, and so I can have fun and keep playing the game. And now I make presentations in front of people. So yeah. So imagine if we can apply this gamification to our different parts of our life. Maybe finances, maybe dating and relationships, our career, self-care, or health. Um, so and then it just leads to the question, what game do you want to play in life? And that's all. Thank you. Any questions or comments?